To my YouTube channel. Today we're going to learn about how to set up a Node.js project with Typescript. So the advantages of doing this is like Typescript is more structured and it's much more nicer to have like a Typescript because how it Typescript framework, because how it works is that it has like controllers, models, routes. I'll talk a little bit more about how we can do that in my upcoming videos, but right now let's just focus on how we can set up this project, right? So firstly, to set this project up, you need to have Node installed on your laptop. So you can go to this website and just like download Node here, depending on like whichever operating system that you have. Once that's done, all you need to do is like just check whether Node is installed, and if Node is installed, you will get this this version number printed here. Once that's done, what you need to do is initialize a new Node project here. So for example, you do npm init -y. This initializes a Node project, right? So now your Node project, like if you and just open it in Visual Studio. So you just do code dot and that opens it up in Visual Studio. Now once you have that on, like you can see that this already has like your package.json files, which basically contains all the Node.js information, right? Now what you need to do is to set up like an express server using Node.js, you need to install some libraries first. So you need to install Express. You also need to install course. You need to install body parser. And now because we want to install this, use TypeScript for this project, we also need to install TypeScript. So you install TypeScript, and you also install right, and then you install the types versions for Express and course, because that's also important. So you install those. Okay, now you have installed all the required libraries for this project. Now let's start with how we can initialize TypeScript in this project, right? So for that, the command is really easy. All you need to do is like tsc init, right? I mean, like after installing all these libraries, you can see that you have like package.json, you have like the corresponding Node modules, you have like in here you can see all the libraries, and like even package.json, you can see all these dependencies here, and you can see all these dev dependencies that we have, right? Now what you need to do to initialize TypeScript is use this command tsc init. Once you do that, so this is initialized, and this initializes your TypeScript project. But what it does is like essentially just add this tsconfig.json file, right? So all is good till now, and now let's make our server file. Sorry, that's .ts. Right. So that's done. And now once you have this file, we'll basically just import all the libraries that we installed. So we import, sorry, So basically we import express from express, and then we import calls, and then we import JSON from body parser. Then what we need to do is like initialize a new app using express app.use JSON, because we'll send JSON responses and get JSON responses from the server. Then we also want to set this up. This just helps in like testing and all of those purposes, so we need to keep it like true. And then what we need to do next is to export this app, obviously. And let's now write the first endpoint that we can for this, right? So we write app.get function request response, and we do this, and then the response will send server is connected, right? This is the message that it will send. Now you can see that this is erroring out. We can see an error here, and it says basically that no inputs were found in the config file. Specified include paths were and exclude paths were. So what we need to do, because TypeScript in itself always, like what happens is TypeScript converts its files to JavaScript. So when you compile a TypeScript file, it basically converts it into JavaScript so that Node.js can pick it up, right? So what we need to do here is just add like definitions for that, right? So basically you say include. So what do you want to include? So you want to include any file. Like include means that it will be taken by TypeScript and converted into like a JavaScript file. So any code that you have written, you want it to be included by it, so that it gets compiled correctly. And what will you exclude? You will exclude the node modules, because that is the same whether it gets included there or it doesn't, right? Sorry, these would come outside here. So once you do that and save the file, as you can see, like there is no error anymore. And this basically, these two lines, it basically just helps you to convert your TypeScript code to JavaScript, so that Node.js can pick it up, right? And one last thing that we need to do is to add like a start command, so here, so that we can run it. Yeah, so it's JS here, because we will be using the JavaScript file that will be converted, right? And then for build, you will write. Okay, so these are the commands that you need to write here. These scripts basically help you to run the application, right? So now let's go to our terminal, and what we need to do here is npm run build, right? So this basically, what it will, as you can see, this is the name of my project, and this basically builds it in TypeScript. So once you run this, as you can see, now there are two files. One is like a .ts and one is .js. So, and if I open this file, this basically is like a JavaScript version of the same file. So you can see like all these libraries are imported, and then like a new Express app is created, and all of these, like this endpoint is mentioned. So it's basically the same thing, but it's just compiled in JavaScript. So once that's done, the next thing you can do is like just run this server.js. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention, what you need to write is also 3000, and that app.listen port console.log server is listening on port 3000, right? So this will build the file, and then you write node server.js, server is listening. And now if I go to this http localhost 3000, you can see I see the message server is connected. So this basically tells you that the Node.js part is connected to the server is connected, up and running. So now you can add as many endpoints as you want here and just continue building here. As you can see, like this is how basically you connect with a TypeScript version, like how you connect Node.js and TypeScript. Okay.